Hi everybody. Today I am making stuffed bell peppers, and that's because we have some leftover meatloaf that I want to show you a really snazzy idea of how I reuse my leftovers to make it interesting. So starting from the left side, we have some chopped up onion. We have, we have 7 bell peppers, 2 of the green ones back there. I don't know if you can see them. They came straight out of our garden, so we'll be using those. And the seasonings that we're going to be using, I have some chopped up basil, some ground pepper, an Italian seasoning, and of course some minced garlic. Now to your left, I have a pan that has extra virgin olive oil in it. I have some rice that's steaming in back, and I got a pot of water getting ready to boil. And in the oven, I'm roasting some tomatoes. And this is all going to be the components for my, not all the ingredients, because I got to add the leftover meatloaf, but this is just the beginning of the sauce, basically. And then I'm going to add in the meatloaf after that, and I'll show you how I do all this. I'm going to heat up my stove to get that the oil hot. Now this is what I'm doing to kind of save on my bell peppers, you know, because they're so expensive. After I cut the tops, I just rinsed off all the seeds, and then I took out the green stem part like that, and I'm going to cut these up, and these are going to go into my sauce. So basically, I always, in a hot pan, I always start my onions, and I never put my garlic in there alone. The reason for that is because the garlic has a tendency to burn really fast if you're not paying 100% attention to it. So I always put my onions and then my garlic. Now these are my daughter's baby spoons. I hold on to them because they work as good little tiny spoons for stuff like that. I'm going to add in the fresh basil. Okay, and while these are boiling, I'm just going to submerge my peppers in here in the boiling water just for a couple of minutes, just for them to get a little soft. Yeah, they're going to cook a little bit in the oven, but I want them to be a little bit more workable. So I'm just going to plop those in there. So, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you can overcrowd if you want to, because they're only going to be in there for a couple of minutes. So I'm going to take my pepper chops, and I'm just going to cut them. And you don't have to be too fancy with this. You kind of want them kind of small. You don't want great big chunks, because they are going to be in the stuffing part of it. I'm also going to top it with a little bit of cheese, and I'll come back and I'll show you how I throw it all together. So, see you then. Hi guys. So this is what I've already done. In this pan, I've sauteed the peppers, the onions, and the garlic, and of course the basil all together. Then I added the leftover meatloaf, and I just kind of broke it up like this in the pan to, you know, get small chunks. And then I added a cup of white rice. Now you could use whatever rice you want to. Wild rice would go really good with this, but I only used what I had on hand. In the food processor, I just ground up some cherry tomatoes with some beefsteak tomatoes. I roasted them with a little extra virgin olive oil at 350 for probably about 40-45 minutes. And I didn't take out the seeds. There's no reason for it unless you really don't like the seeds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ladle some of this sauce at the bottom of this. This is going to prevent burning on the peppers. So, and no, these are not from our garden. Not yet. They're almost there, but not quite. So we want to get a nice pretty red out of them. But very soon you will see a lot of recipes where I'm using our tomatoes from our garden. And so to this mixture, I'm going to add the sauce. There's no reason to reheat this unless you're using canned or refrigerated sauce, because everything in here is pretty hot. The tomatoes are piping hot. So let's stir this around. It's a little bit more juicy. There goes my oven. It's a little bit more juicy. I made extra rice just in case I needed the juice to be picked up. So I'm just going to add the rest of this now. So, I mean, it can't really hurt anything anyway. I mean, who wouldn't like a juicy stuffed pepper anyway? So, and you know, you don't have to use leftover meatloaf for this. You could use anything you prefer. If you want to keep it vegetarian, you could absolutely use beans, or black beans would work because they have a meaty texture, or you could even use mushrooms. So now it's time to stuff some peppers. So you want to make sure these are cooled off enough that they're easy to work with your hands. Okay, so there's one. Let's sprinkle some grated Parmesan cheese. Here's a trick for you. You know, Parmesan cheese is very expensive if you buy it at the store. To get a little bit of more shelf life out of it, all you need to do is stick it in the freezer. And that way you just use it as you need it. Do not grate it, do not shred it, because it goes bad faster that way. If you keep it on that little triangle that it usually comes with, it will stay fresher longer. And it stays fresher longer in the freezer. And it's easy to work with straight out of the freezer. It's actually a lot easier to get like this when it's frozen. So I'm going to do up the rest of these, and I'll be back to show you what it all looks like before I put it in the oven. Hi everyone, so this is what they all look like after they're stuffed, and I got the cheese on. I added a little bit more stuffing to a couple of them. They didn't look as full, and I just sprinkled all that cheese over the top. Now I'm going to use the rest of my seasoning. So we're going to sprinkle some pepper over the tops, and then from here we're going to add some of this Italian seasoning. I know I use this in a lot of recipes, but it just has so much nice flavor. And I make a lot of Italian dishes, as you know, so it's just a very good flavor to have in Italian cooking or whatever. And as you can see, we have some leftover stuffing. I'm sure my husband can find some kind of use for it, so we'll have to think about that one, what he could use it for. Anyway, into the oven it goes. I'm going to guess about 20 minutes. I would check on it. What you're really looking for is for those peppers to soften up a little bit and for the cheese to melt. So I'll be back and I'll tell you exactly how much time it took in the oven. Hi everybody, so this is my stuffed bell peppers. As you can see, they came out very, very nice. They look very scrumptious. And I have one already for my husband to give it a try. They took approximately 30 minutes, so that's about the right time for them at 350 degrees. So I'm going to take the camera from my husband, and he's going to let you know how he likes it.
Alrighty. Now I feel compelled at this point to tell everybody that this is one of the peppers from our garden here too, so that's the reason I had Heather, or asked her to please put this one on a plate. So I'm going to grab me some good stuff right there. Cut off the corner of that pepper. And in the middle of it too, I suppose. Now look here, I like the stuff. I mean, I like peppers, but I like the stuff that goes with them too. So, man, that thing's a steaming. Cool it off just a touch. Now, to rednecks everywhere. Well, for you non-believers out there, after taking a bite of that, trust me, there is a God. Good stuff, Heather. Another magnificent job. And I'd marry you all over again, especially after supper. All right, now we're going to get back to Heather here real quick.
Hi everybody. I hope you have a chance to try this. And you know, you don't have to get fancy with your meals to make your family know how much you love them. As long as you put love into it, it can be SpaghettiOs that you heat up in the microwave and they're going to love it just the same. Now I always say at the end of my videos, live, laugh, and love. And I know that there's a lot of decorative things out there that has that on that, but I truly believe if you live your life the way you truly are meant to be for your authentic self, you're going to live a much happier life. And that's going to give you a lot of laughter, and it's going to give you a lot of love in your heart. And you've got to make sure that you love all the people that love and support you. Forget about the people who have nothing nice to say. I guarantee you, if they don't have a whole lot of nice things to say, chances are there are things that are just not right in their lives. And that has nothing to do with you. So ignore the bad, embrace the good, and love as hard as you can, and live your life to how you truly see fit. Because that's only how you're going to be happy in life. Until then, see you later.